briefly as I possibly can. You all know very much I love to wax rhapsodic here and just not shut up. I'll try to keep it concise this time around. I want to talk about an email I got this morning from OOIDA, because one of the little perks of being a member of OOIDA is they send you little notes and nuggets every now and again about what is going on with trucking. And this morning's email, it comes around every 2 weeks or a month or so, just to kind of give a snapshot synopsis of where the trucking is at real quick, in extremely brief terms. It talked about the continuing decline of freight rates. And I think this morning's email said that year to date, dry van spot rates are down 33 cents a mile at minimum, and reefer spot rates are down 75 cents a mile minimum. At least if I'm remembering that correctly. I could be wrong. I did not go back and review and then write down or commit to memory the numbers. Suffice it to say, rates are down significantly from what they were at the start of the year, and this is a trend that is going to be continuing for a little while yet, unfortunately, due to a combination of god-awful inflation combined with very poor fiscal policy on the part of the federal government, as well as the extraordinary gouging of fuel and energy prices by the oil companies, and also, the major point they wanted to discuss and cite as the reason for the decline in rates. Yeah, fuel plays a part, sort of, in terms of the money we make. Inflation is playing a role, yes. That is affecting the money we're able to make. The fiscal policy of the U.S. government is affecting the money we're able to make. Yes, that is a true factor as well. But the number one factor affecting freight rates right now, according to OOIDA, is that there is a glut of trucking capacity in the market right now, especially in dry van and reefer freight, aka refrigerated unit, for those of you who aren't familiar with what reefer is, aside from another word for marijuana. Anyway, so dry van rates are down, reefer rates are down. They didn't say anything about flatbed this time around, so I can only assume flatbed might be holding steady, but I don't know. Flatbedding is not in my wheelhouse. I know nothing about it, aside from I'm not sure I have the gumption to change how I do business to switch over to that way of operating. So I'll be leaving the skateboards to the skateboarders, and I will be staying with dry van, almost a guarantee, at least for the foreseeable future. But anyway, so rates are down because of a glut of capacity, and yet I saw a news article, I think it was on Fox News, about a month ago or so, maybe not quite a month ago, within the last 3 to 6 weeks for sure, talking about how there's still a shortage of truckers across the industry, something like 70 to 80,000 driving positions that are currently vacant due to retirements, or pick your reason, pick your poison, pick your idea. Cause, I guess, for lack of a better term. Anyway, it's the big carriers that cannot retain drivers that are saying that it's a shortage of drivers that's affecting their business operations. And I'm sure there's a degree of truth to that, but then again, the mega carriers are the ones that cannot retain drivers because of either low pay or poor dispatch managers or just poor management, because you've got, one dispatcher for 60 trucks, 30 trucks, 40 trucks, an incredible workload for just one dispatcher, let alone, 2 or 3 paying, still paying my tractor insurance on top of that, plus fuel. With I'm not sure how the surcharge works with them anyway. Told me that I needed to migrate if I was going to be able to meet my financial goals and try to keep myself going. Plus, I wanted a shift in how business was being done with me because I wanted to see dispatching for myself. I wanted to look at the load board, find loads that I wanted, call those brokers myself, and actually book the load. Now I'm doing that, which is great. I am hugely appreciative of that ability that I have thanks to the carrier that I'm with now. However, doing this has also exposed me to the hard truth that freight rates are down on a national level, and we all have to fight for the best rate we can possibly get. The unfortunate reality is that when you are working with brokers only and not direct customers, there's going to be a limitation to how much they're willing to negotiate. Like this morning, I was negotiating with 2 loads. One was a light load going to Dallas, the other was a heavy load going to Omaha. I picked the heavy load going to Omaha. Why did I do that? Because the heavy load going to Omaha was willing to negotiate for a rate that I was willing to accept. The lighter load going to Dallas was not going to budge from their very low freight rate. They were offering what amounted to about $1.65 a mile. Whereas the load to Omaha, it's a heavier load, it's going to burn more fuel, but they were willing to pay more. I got closer to $2 a mile, which is what I need to be seeing in order to maintain operational viability, not just in terms of my truck and trailer expenses, but also in terms of my cost of living. Because it's not just the truck and trailer that got to get paid for, it's the drivers that get paid for still as well. And, there's a limit to what I'm willing to accept, and, $1.75 is essentially the break-even point that I've set for myself. Really, I should be working for no less than $2 a mile no matter what, but sometimes reality just does not make way for that, and you got to weigh the opportunities, because here in New Mexico, the scenery is beautiful. I'm basically in a desert right now with mountains to the northeast of me, headed to Albuquerque, and this is just absolutely gorgeous terrain for someone who's not used to this. This is beautiful down here. Yeah, it looks kind of junky from what you're seeing now because I'm on an interstate. There's limited view from what I can see, but still, the visual experience that I'm having right now is fantastic. The freight rates in New Mexico right now, however, are absolute garbage. Like, this state is a dumpster fire for good freight rates right now. So if you're an owner-operator watching this video in October, November 2022, stay away from New Mexico. Leave that to good freight rates that were experienced in the last few years, that's drying up now pretty badly. I mean, I was looking ahead to rates out of Omaha headed further east, and the rates for some of those that were actually posting rates were still pretty bad. Not nearly as good as they were even a couple of weeks ago in some cases. So rates are on the decline, and they're going to continue to decline, at least for the short-term foreseeable future, while fuel prices are likely to increase rather than decrease, because prices are being gouged by the oil companies because they can. No one will stop them. It is what it is. So fuel costs are up, and they're not going down anytime soon. Insurance is still pretty big expense for owner-operators. And then, of course, there's monthly maintenance. Tire issues, suspension issues, periodic maintenance, mid-trip inspections, you name it. So, if you're trying to become an owner-operator right now, my advice would be don't do it, because you're not going to make a lot of money. And also, the market is so saturated that, unfortunately, this is going to be a time where the solo owner-operators who filed for their own operating authority and just went hog wild, they're either going to find a way to swim or they're going to sink. And then the market will then begin to correct itself in terms of sustainable freight rates versus the cost of fuel. Plus, I mean, look at it this way. If fuel right now was under $2.50 a gallon for diesel, freight rates of $1.75 or $2 a mile would be just fine. That would be a very sustainable rate of line haul for most owner-operators. Yeah, we all want 3, 4, 5 a mile, no question about it. No one wants less than 3, 4, 5 a mile. The reality is that no one's going to be offering $3 or $4 or $5 per mile consistently, unless you have a direct customer, or unless you're a specialty hauler and you command that kind of rate because what you're doing requires that kind of rate. So there's trade-offs there. I mean, I look forward to trying to get $3 freight whenever I possibly can. $4 freight is just the cat's pajamas. But the reality is that we are in a $2 freight rate market on average at best, depending on where you're at. And that's not good news for the short term. Long term, if fuel prices come down, okay, it becomes sustainable. If fuel prices stay high, it's going to start causing a decrease in the available market capacity to move freight, which will mean freight rates will have to come up. But it's going to be a while before that cycle repeats itself. And until then, it's, do what you can and just manage your money as best you possibly can, and just don't be stupid. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the scenery and my yammering. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you down the road.